Welcome back to Blake's Craft Beer Podcast. My name is Blake Longfellow. I'm back here in Cincinnati, Ohio for a very awesome show. I've been trying to do that. I've had him on a couple of times, but what we're going to be talking about is something that's become very Cincinnati-ish.
Sure.
I'm sure Oktoberfest is everywhere, but Samuel Adams, I feel like, really brought now and everyone's doing it. So please introduce yourself. And
I'm Keith McEly, the general manager here at the Samuel Adams Zinzinnati Taproom.
But when this comes out, it'll be Octoberfest week, or Zinzinnati Oktoberfest week, which is always a huge week in Cincinnati. And
for sure.
Talk to me a little bit how the story of Samuel Adams Oktoberfest, did it start here in Cincinnati, or was it one of the first ones he started brewing on?
I'd have to actually see when we brewed it for the first time. I'm not totally sure, but it's definitely one of the oldest seasonals that we've done in the Sam Adams portfolio. We kind of were like one of the pioneers with the seasonal program. Winter lager, Bach. We had a few like historic recipes that we had done for seasonals back in the day. But obviously, at this point, Oktoberfest is our main seasonal, our main driver. It does most of our seasonal volume for the company, which is kind of crazy.
That's hard to imagine. He just created this beer and it just turned into something probably more than.
Yeah, I think there's and especially in a place like Cincinnati, there's a big yearning for like German style lagers, and I think a Marzen totally fits that bill. Which is what this is. So we definitely love our German beer here in the city.
Yeah, so. And it's amazing how much it's taken off too. With you see other breweries brewing Oktoberfest, and now they create a festival over it. Do you know the history of that?
Yeah. So it's worth mentioning. This year is actually the 49th year that Cincinnati is happening, which is it's crazy. It's wild to think that next year will be 50 years for that festival. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty uniquely Cincinnati thing. Not to say there aren't other Oktoberfests that happen, but this is definitely the biggest one in the U.S., which is awesome.
So let's get into the Oktoberfest.
Yeah, let's try some of it. Yeah, it's 5.3% ABV, rich and malty. We definitely refer to it as hearty. It has some body to it, which is nice, but still, still easier drinking. Like you could have a couple of these, it's not like you have one and feel totally full.
Right. It's not like I love the other one you guys do around here, Bachfest, where you got to be a little more careful on how much Bachfest.
Yeah, that cinnamon roll breakfast Bach. That is a pretty hardy beer for sure.
Yeah, you guys always create a special one. You always create a special one during the fall too. It's always a neat thing. Talk to how that program has become what it has been.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of different like Oktoberfest-ish beers on tap too over the next month. I think next week we're rolling out Penultimate, which one of our assistant managers, Matt, that's kind of his creation. It's a Kolsch, and we kind of see that as it's called Penultimate because it's like cheers in the end of summer. School's about to start again. Like it's kind of end of summer going into fall vibes, but still warm out. So and then we'll have a few other beers too that kind of fit the theme of Oktoberfest. In a couple of weeks here, we'll have Flannel Fest, which is our Dunkel that's in the Sam Adams seasonal variety pack.
It's always very good.
Yeah, it's super hearty. It's really tasty. Definitely has fall vibes for sure. And then in that pack this year, I actually have not had it yet. I'm looking forward to it coming in, but there's also Harvest Hells. So it's a Helles lager that has kind of a fall twist on it.
Even though it's very humid today when we're recording, but it just feels like it's in cooler weather.
Yeah, it's like fake fall. So I would refer to it. It's it's still warm out, but you can tell fall is kind of coming. So
talk to me on how we're talking about Oktoberfest, but what other things do you guys do for the event?
For Cincinnati itself. So we do a lot. That's actually a big weekend for us. It's actually, funnily enough, like a crazy busy week for the company. It just usually always kind of happens this way. We normally have our national company meeting earlier that week in Boston. It's been in other cities too, and this year it's in Boston. But then Thursday starts Cincinnati. So our whole team that works on Cincinnati, flies out to Cincinnati then to help put on that event. So Jim, most years and this year, is scheduled to come out. He'll mainly be around the festival on Saturday this year, doing, Friday and Saturday. He'll be doing like a keg tapping, kind of tapping Oktoberfest for the first time. And then we'll be doing some Stein hoisting. The night before, there's wiener dog races. And then Saturday is kind of the big party day at the festival.
How much is Jim still involved? I know there's been articles on he's looking at possibly stepping away.
You ask a very timely question. Like in the last 2 weeks, it was announced that Jim is stepping back in as CEO.
Okay, so he's not leaving.
No, not at all. No, he's 76, but still very, very involved in the business. 2 weeks ago, our CEO, Michael Splain, announced that he was stepping down for personal reasons, and they announced the same day that Jim was stepping back in as CEO. So Jim was CEO of the company from its founding up until 2001, and then has been out of the CEO role since 2001, but is stepping back in. But I think the team is really excited about it, given that Jim is still very, very close to the pulse of the Sam Adams brands. He still works a ton of hours a week. He's still very close to the day-to-day business. So, we think this will be a good thing, that he'll be so hands-on.
What do you think is going to be the major difference with him coming back?
Well, this is conjecture on my end, since I don't know yet ahead of time, but from my experiences dealing with Jim cares passionately about beer. And I think, a lot of our, it's just the nature of the beer industry at this point, but so many products have moved to beyond beer, and that's a big umbrella that has seltzer in it and has, a bunch of other like better for you options. And our company has also leaned into that. I mean, we've had to, to adjust to market conditions and all that. But I think even though we've seen beer decline, I think Jim will have kind of an outsized focus on that, because it's what he's passionate about. He truly is a beer lover at heart. And so I'm looking forward to that piece, that he'll be very hands-on with the beer ends.
Maybe that's the joke that's the beer industry needs.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. Just since COVID, so much it has changed and happened. But I think everybody's kind of adjusting. I think there's still a lot of great breweries making great beers. I think we're one of them, and I'm excited to have that emphasis on it again.
Because you're also expanding over here too, aren't you?
We are. Yeah, you mean at the brewery itself? Yeah, we purchased some land around the brewery, and I'm not privy to all of that, but I think the main piece of it is that as we continue shipping stuff and that ramps up, we need more space for tractor trailers and stuff like that. So it's mainly for transportation reasons.
It's always cool to hear, a lot of some breweries are struggling more than others, but it's always cool to see more growth in others. And,
yeah. I think the past few years have been rough on a lot of folks in the brewing industry. And really it's alcohol trends in general, but a lot of things are cyclical. I mean, beer's been around for thousands of years. I don't know necessarily that it's going anywhere. So,
because last year there was, have you seen this year compared to last year about the same, or is it?
Pretty comparable. Yeah, pretty comparable. It's. I think at the tap room, we kind of hit our rhythm in the sense that we were able to identify some beers that people really loved, like Cincy Lager and Cincy IPA. And we're really able to lean into those, have those on the menu all the time and all of that. And so I would say probably a little bit less one-off beers for us this year, and more just getting in the rhythm of a production schedule here. FC games have still been a really big pull for us. In general, I think events and stuff have been a pull for us. And we still get tons of beer lovers in. Today there's a Reds place facing the Phillies, and a lot of Phillies fans in, a lot of Reds fans in, like people coming to get a beer before the ball game. So I still think there's a lot of those occasions for people that love beer. It's just maybe the demographics of who and what and how people are drinking beer has changed a little bit. So.
Because you mentioned when you opened this, it was for your employees to have a place. But how important do you think it has become more than just that? Having a place that, people will assume Samuel Adams doesn't have many varieties, but when they come in the tap room, maybe their mind grows a little bit. Oh, you guys do more than what we thought.
Yeah, I think honestly a lot of that comes down to community. And, I think that, we've seen what's called like the third space kind of like shrink a bit, and like people kind of refer to like pubs and restaurants and gathering spaces, kind of that third space. I think a tap room really fits that bill, right? And I think that since COVID, like there's just been a real shift towards a lot of people doing stuff at home and, to go everything and all of that. But I think there's still a core set of consumers that still love that experience and are still kind of craving that. So like for us, like FC Cincinnati home matches are like a great example of that. Like we host one of the supporter groups each home match, and it's the same core group of people that we see come out to all of those. And I think people really love that community-based aspect of it. And I think beyond great beer, that's kind of the big thing that tap rooms provide, is like a real community gathering space for people. When
you guys first talked about opening it, did you guys know the stadium was coming beforehand, or was it no? No, not exactly. So we opened in 2018, and I'm pretty sure, and this was before I had moved to Cincinnati, but I'm pretty sure they were still debating where the stadium would go. I think there were 3 separate locations for it. And then around the time that maybe right before I moved here, we had found out the stadium was going to go in at where TQL is now. So, but yeah, it was not set in stone. And then it went up quick. It was like a year, and it was built and ready to go. Yeah, it was a shame that their year they opened was during COVID, so it kind of hurt it a little bit. It did, yeah. Still, the initial opening day was like crazy busy for us, like crazy, yeah. So, because we're getting some type of a U.S. Tournament around here. I know it's not the Gold Cup like we were hoping it would be, but some that has to be excitement to bringing more people in. Yeah, it's there was a Club World Cup last month. I don't think that was quite the visitors that we were hoping for that, but FC Cincy and interest in soccer still seems to be really on the upswing. I mean, I think MLS is making a bunch of good moves right now with like bringing in a lot of like, I don't want to say legacy players, but like older players from Europe, that are looking for a new home, like, Messi, obviously, but there's other ones that they brought in and stuff. So I think the league is really doing a lot to bring in new fans, I guess I would say. So it was actually on Sunday, it was the team's 10th anniversary. It was FC Cincinnati's 10th anniversary. Wow. It's just cool to see. Mm-hmm. So what's some other cool beers you guys been working on? I will mention the other one that's right in front of us, actually. So this is called Keep It in Check. It was a collaboration between Sam Adams and Czech Var, which is the national brewery, the Czech Republic. It's brewed Budvar and, other kind of famous iconic beers. So it's the longest we've actually ever lagered a beer. It was a 3-week, I think maybe 3+ week lagering time, really long lagering time. Chris brewed the beer here in Cincinnati. The main collab happened in Boston, where we actually had representatives from Czech Var come over and actually brew with them at 5 a.m. in the morning, which was super cool. And then they did a big event there where people got to test out pulling their own side pull, which is cool. We were excited about it here because it's the first time we've installed a side pull and our first beer that we've ever had on a side pull, but it makes it a little bit different drinking experience because you get this isn't visual, this is audio, but if you could see it, you're getting like a good 2 inches of foam of head on the beer there, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Is a side pull similar to a cask, or are they completely different?
It's a little bit similar in the sense that it is completely different, but it's similar in the sense that it's a little bit less carbonated. Like it's a little bit less crisp and a little bit more mellow. It kind of tamps down the carbonation a little bit. But the process of this being brewed is more currently how we brew beers, whereas cask is kind of its own thing. A lot of times you're putting it in the cask and letting it finish fermenting in the cask, and it's just a whole different process, I guess I would say.
No, it's good. It's refreshing. It's
Yeah.
good for a hot, humid day, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think people love seeing it poured in here because it's like it's a lot of foam, right? And apparently in Czech Republic, like they do a style called milko, which is like the film or like the foam is basically the entire glass, which we didn't try that here, but it's kind of crazy that it gets served that way.
Next.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you don't mind about Cincinnati, I would love to plug something else too, if that's cool. So next Tuesday, this will be, before this or after this airs, but on August 19th, we're doing a media event with the Cincinnati Chamber of Commerce and Rookwood Pottery, actually. Rookwood is doing the official stein for Cincinnati again this year. So there'll be orders on their website that you can order the stein. This upcoming Tuesday, we'll actually have 50 steins available, and the artist here kind of talking about the design and all of that. But if you check social media, Rookwood, everything Cincy and us were posting about it yesterday. Really cool looking stein. It will be limited edition and, will be great for Cincinnati this year.
How cool are, because each year the steins are different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, this is, I believe, year 2 of Rookwood doing it. I think maybe they've done it in the past before, but then took a break from it. But yeah, this is year 2 of them doing the stein again, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm. How did the stein become? Was it pretty much Cincinnati that created the stein, or I'm assuming it came from?
Oh, I don't necessarily know the history of steins necessarily, other than I imagine Germany, they were what they traditionally drank with. As far as I know, Rookwood's always had steins kind of be like an iconic part of their collection, I imagine, because of the German heritage here in the city. But I have one at home, actually, that I drink. It's not a Cincinnati one, but it's a Rookwood design, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, because, when I think German, I think of steins or that big glass.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. They're kind of deceptive, though. Like the one I have at home, the Rookwood one, like it looks like it's 16 ounces, but it's not. I mean, you can pour a 20-ounce beer in there easily, and it still doesn't come all the way up to the top, which is kind of crazy.
They created 19.2s before they were popular.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you guys make 19.2s?
On the Sam side, not as much. Not to say we won't necessarily. Some of our other brands like Dogfish Head, they've leaned pretty heavily into 19.2s. And a bunch of our other brands do as well. I don't think we've put anything in 19.2s on the Sam Adams side yet. We've toyed around with it, though, for sure. I think if we find the right product to put in there that makes sense for the 19.2 consumer, we'll do that.
Because normally I know they're like high ABVs, which
a lot of them are. Yeah. And I think the strategy there is that they're normally sold in like C-stores, convenience stores, and that is like obviously a marketplace that we've played in before, but I don't think it's our primary focus on the Sam brand side currently. For us, kind of the main drivers right now are seasonal, and we kind of have those packs already set. Like, for Octoberfest, it's in 6 packs, 12 packs, and then it's also in that variety pack as well. So it's covering a bunch of different bases already, if that makes sense. And then draft at the tap room too, and draft out in the marketplace as well. So
because I think it's pretty unique how you guys always have a seasonal for each season. Yeah, and how you guys have kept up on that. Which can't be easy to keep doing each and every year. Yeah,
it's part of it's like finding the right balance between like old classics in the variety pack, and I'll preface by what I'm about to say by saying I'm not on the brand team, so this is kind of just me, talking for a second, but it's kind of hard to find the right balance with the variety pack of like newness, but also, also like old reliables that people, know and love, like cherry wheat and something that, like during the wintertime, old Fezziwig. That's one that like some years it's in the variety pack, some years it's not, but people are always asking about it. It's kind of always on the periphery there, if that makes sense.
Because is cherry wheat pretty still popular to this
day?
It
is, especially in the Midwest. The cherries actually come from Michigan, and so there's kind of like not a local tie, but like a regional tie. Like it's kind of connected to the Midwest that way, and so a lot of people like associate it with that. So like here, the taproom cherry wheat's popular for sure. We still sell it in 6-packs too, out in the market. So
what's the number one beer you guys sell here in the taproom?
At the taproom, past couple of weeks it's been this that we're drinking right now to keep it in check. I would say though, if you look like over the course of the whole year, really you're looking at Cincy IPA is usually kind of in the top 3. Cincy Lager as well, and American Light's up there as well. Let me think. What else? And seasonal. I mean, Oktoberfest. During all of September and late August, that'll be number 1. I would say. Summer ale is normally in the top 3. All summer long. Cold Snap's always pretty high up there, but the sell window for Cold Snap's pretty short. It's like, I guess it's not that short. It's like January 1 to like March 1st, but it feels kind of short, I guess. So
we talked about it a little bit the last time, but how has it been since you've been about half a year with the light lager?
With American Light?
Yeah.
I think it has its devoted fans, I would say. I think especially for like some of those macro drinkers that want like a upsell to something a little bit more premium. I think American Light kind of checks that box. We see it do really, really well on like FC days and other, game days and stuff. And I think it's just because like it's sessionable. Like you can have a couple of them and, it's like, it's not quite in that better for you category, but it certainly is, it's.
Come on, it's a little higher in calories.
Yeah. Lighter calories, lighter carbs. You could have a few of them, It's not like a crazy barrel-aged stout or anything. So it's been good. I think it's been a good addition to the portfolio. And, I think for us here at the taproom, given that its origin story kind of connects to Cincinnati with tractor beer being kind of like the genesis of what became American Light, like it really gives us something to talk about here at the taproom. And I think we love that aspect of it. For sure.
You mentioned you have a Cincinnati Lager. Talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah. Cincy Lager is, we've had that beer, believe it or not, for like 5 years now. And it hasn't really gone through that many iterations, which is kind of wild. But Cincinnati Lager is kind of a German-American lager hybrid. And I say that because it has German malt, similar to something more like a Pilsner, like that type of base, and then American hops. And it gets dry hopped as well. So it kind of has a very like classic German lager like undertone to it, but then the hops and the dry hopping kind of give it a little bit more like hoppy body to it, I would say. I think it's delicious. We've had it for a while, and there's a reason why it's been on our menu that whole time, because people like it. It has its fans for sure. We have Cincy IPA as well, and that is newer. We've had that for maybe a year and a half or so. We went through a few different iterations with that one, but we finally kind of settled on like what we wanted it to be. It has a little bit of haze to it, but it's not a hazy, and it kind of has like a West Coast vibe to it, but also is a little bit more malty, like an East Coast one. So it's kind of like a bunch of IPAs jammed together.
To like a Midwest IPA.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how I refer to it. Yeah, for sure.
I'm assuming you guys have some hazies that are probably pretty popular too.
We don't really have any hazies on right now. No, believe it or not. Not to say we haven't brewed them, and not to say that we won't, but we don't. They're kind of more irregular on our menu, which I know is a little bit of an anomaly. I feel like everybody kind of really leans into hazies. And a lot of it for us is just kind of like production limitation. Like obviously some of our beers are national style, so we get those from the bigger production breweries, but our production brewery or our production schedule for the tap room here is pretty like planned out, I would say, and like kind of jammed up for months at a time type of thing. So we've not really had like a huge space, I guess I would say, for hazy IPAs. We have done a bunch of experimental IPAs this year. Like right now we have a beer on tap called Icelandic Plunge. That's part of our Drink Lab series, and that's like a spirits inspired IPA, so it actually has juniper berries in it. I would say it's like almost like a gin and tonic in an IPA form, which I know that sounds weird, but I promise you it's actually really good. So with Drink Lab, we have had we've kind of been testing at our sites like some various experimental IPAs, and I think for us that's kind of like filled that box that I guess hazies would, where it's like we do have IPA, it's just not necessarily traditional hazy or whatever. So
talk to me a little bit about your brewery that's behind you. How often are you guys brewing, and is it more experimentals, or do you have like a set stuff
across the street?
No, behind you.
Yeah. We will brew more on site this year than we have any other year so far. I can say that for sure. We're brewing at this point probably at least 3 times a week. We haven't quite capped out production space, but we're getting there for sure. And the experimental piece is kind of filled by that Drink Lab piece, like something like Icelandic Plunge. That's kind of like the Drink Lab beer right now, and that's kind of the more experimental beer. And then we're kind of brewing kind of the other mainstays that we have on tap, like Cincy Lager, Cincy IPA, Orange and Brew, which is our collaboration with the Brigade, the FC Cincinnati supporter group. That's one that like last year it was a one-off. This year it's been on tap all year long because like it does well during FC games, and there's a need for it. So we're trying to. This year has been more about mainstays, I would say, but we're trying to kind of mix that with, splicing in some experimental stuff when we can, for sure.
Is there anything you guys haven't done yet you would like to try sometime?
Yes, I have a plug. We, in probably about a month or so, we're actually doing a Cincinnati chili IPA, which I think is going to be kind of weird and interesting. I'm looking forward to trying that. I've not had that yet. We're brewing for the anniversary party this year. You probably have had cream stout, which was a national style of ours years ago. That was we didn't brew it all the time, but it was available, out in the market and stuff. But we're doing an imperial version of that that we age in Utopia's barrels. So that will be out in November, and I'm super excited for that one. I love cream stout, and I think it will taste good in Utopia's barrels for sure.
I haven't had too many stuff out of Utopia barrels I haven't loved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty much all of it. Yeah. Pretty much all of it tastes good. It's kind of hard to go wrong with those barrels, honestly.
How many barrels do you normally get out of it, or is it?
We only get a few. It's right to the left of us. Those 3 are the Utopia's barrels. So that's kind of it. Really, we'll get 3 barrels, and then we'll bottle, a good chunk of it and put the rest on draft for the anniversary party.
So how many bottles do you normally get out of a set?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to say last year it was maybe like 30 cases and everything else in draft. So probably 4 or 5 half barrel kegs and those 30 cases.
Is there a huge difference between Utopia on tap and you think are about the same?
Good question. No, I think it's pretty close. The tricky part is that it's not a carbonated beer, but to get it out of a keg, you obviously have to apply some pressure to it. So when we serve it in November, we try to kind of aerate it in the same way that you would not a wine, but something similar to that. We try to put it in crafts, and we don't let oxygen in there, but we pull it into that and let it sit for a little bit before pouring it. Whereas with a bottle, a bottle is protected from oxygen until it's open, theoretically. So with the bottle,
it goes down really fast.
Yeah. Yes. So I would say it's maybe a little bit different, but not that much, I would say. If you have it back to back, it would probably be hard to identify which was like draft and which was
okay.
bottle.
Some beers are the bottle is good, but the tap, but it's the other way around too.
Yeah, I think it's mainly due to the carbonation factor, right? Like with to use Oktoberfest for an example, like if you're gonna pour it side by side, right, draft versus a can, like the can's pressurized, but draft is like essentially like carbonation on demand, right? It's like it's pressurized evenly, and so theoretically they should be close to the same. But to your point, you can always kind of tell when there's you can always tell a little bit of a difference between draft and can. Utopias, you're not going to tell that much variation. It's going to be closer for sure.
So, what are you planning for your anniversary? I know this is going to come out in September, but
sure, yeah, I would love to plug that. Yeah, it is. Let me pull up my calendar just to make sure I'm telling you the right dates here. It is going to be November 15th and 16th. That Saturday and Sunday. So, like a week and a half before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So
get your stuff before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
make Thanksgiving more
absolutely. Fun. Those bottles make a good gift for people. Cool.
And also, anything else you think people need to know about Cincinnati that week? And
I would just say, if you did not get a chance to go last year. It's in the same location as it was last year. It's at Sawyer Point, which I think was like, in the time I've been going to the festival, definitely the best place for it to be. Like, there's just so much room to move around, like down by the river. You're down at the river. It's super scenic. I thought last year was the best one that I've attended. And I would say, I would encourage people to go if they haven't been in a long time.
And
because
is there stuff also in the tap room too that people might not know?
Yeah, we'll have Octoberfest on and a bunch of other Oktoberfest themed beers during that time as well. So there's a reason to stop at the tap room and down to the festival as well.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait for it. It sounds like a great time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe you'll get a Jim Cook sighting too if you go down there.
I absolutely love to meet him sometime.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he'll be wandering around there, I'm sure, on Saturday.
All right. Well,
cool.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Always welcome anytime you want.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks, Blake.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.